Hey, third hour, get ready to take some notes on the order of operations. I miss you today. First of all, filling in some blanks, mathematicians have established what we call an order of operations to evaluate expressions with more than one operation. Putting it all together, what is the order of operations? There's please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. That's what PEMDAS stands for. The P stands for parentheses, or you can think of this as grouping symbols. So the first thing that you should do is anything inside parentheses, or any kind of grouping symbols. Sometimes they might be brackets like this as well. Then the second thing you would do is exponents. Any exponents in the expression need to be worked out second. Multiplication and division are actually a little bit tricky because a lot of times people think they should do multiplication first no matter what. But multiplication and division actually work together, but you have to go from left to right. Okay? So keep it in a nice straight line and always go left to right with multiplication and division. So division can actually come before multiplication if it's further on the left. Same thing with addition and subtraction. They too work together from left to right. Okay? So subtraction could come before addition if it's further on the left. Let's put it together and work some of these out. The first problem, notice that we have multiplication inside subtraction and addition. Okay? Now there's no parentheses, there's no exponents, so what I'm going to do is this multiplication first, but always do the vertical method. So we're going to drop the 12 down, we're going to drop the minus sign down. 5 times 3 is 15, and then we drop down the plus 10. Now I'm going to go from left to right because it's all addition and subtraction. So from left to right, and if you need to, please go ahead and do the keep change flip. So this would be 12 plus negative 15. So if that's easier for you, go ahead and do that. 12 plus negative 15, those are opposite signs. 15 minus 12 would be 3, and we give it a negative sign because the 15 is bigger. So we've got negative 3 plus 10. Again, opposite signs. 10 minus 3 is 7, and it's going to be positive because the 10 is bigger. Next one. Again, no parentheses, no exponents, so I need to do multiplication and division first. Division from left to right. 24 divided by 8 is 3. I'm going to bring down the minus sign. Now, since this is still multiplication and we still are going from left to right, I can do 2 times 9, which is 18. All right, and then again, we'll do a little keep change flip. That turns into 3 plus negative 18. Subtract them, you get 15, and it's going to be a negative sign because the 18 is bigger, and it's negative. Next one. Again, no parentheses, no exponents, so I'm going to go ahead and do the 36 divided by 4. So I'm going to drop down 2 plus. 36 divided by 4 is 9, and then 2 plus 9 is 11. Okay, so just follow the order of operations all the way along. This time there's no parentheses, but there is an exponent, so I need to do that first. So I've got 25, and I'm just going to drop everything else down for now, just so I can see for sure what has to happen next. Okay, now we have subtraction and division. Division has to come first. So I'm going to drop down the 25 minus 14 divided by 7 is 2. Do the subtraction. 25 minus 2 is 23. Next one. Now we do have parentheses, so I need to work out what's inside there. So I'm going to bring down the 5 times. Remember, dot means times now. 4 plus 2 is 6. And then I'm going to drop down the squared. Okay? Now we still have an exponent, so I'm going to do that first. So I drop down the 5 times still. 6 squared, remember, is 6 times 6, which is 36. Now we do this multiplication, and that's going to be 1 80. 5 times 36 is 180. Okay. Next problem, we have parentheses and we have inside parentheses. Always do the innermost parentheses first. So I'm actually going to drop down the first bracket. 7 times 4 is 28. And everything else is going to drop down for now. Just so that I can see exactly which steps I'm supposed to follow next. Okay? I still need to be inside the brackets, and the exponent inside the bracket has to come before the addition. So I'm going to keep the bracket. I've got 28 plus 3 squared is 9. Bring down the plus 15. Now we still have a grouping symbol, so I need to do what's inside there first. That's going to be 37. Drop the 15 down. 37 plus 15 is going to be 52. You might want to check my math. I'm going pretty fast. Ooh, scary cat. Evaluate the expression. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take this 6 and we're going to plug it in for the n. Okay, so I'm just going to rewrite this first. So it'll be 8 plus 3. And remember, when you have 3n connected like that, it means times. So it's going to be 3 times 6. So I took this n out and I put 6 in its place. Now we follow the order of operations. Multiplication has to come first. So it'll be 8 plus 18. 8 plus 18 is 26. Done. Next one. N is still 6, so I'm going to plug that in. I'm going to keep the 8 plus 3 in parentheses. And this is still times, so I'm going to put another set of parentheses just so I remember that it's times. 2 sets of parentheses next to each other means multiplication. Okay? Inside the grouping symbol is 8 plus 3, so I'm going to do that. That's 11. So now I have 11 times 6, which is 66. Done. Next one. This is a crazy fraction. Okay? We're going to work this out. Notice that b is 4, so I'm going to plug that in first. Okay, so I'm going to have 8 times 4 plus 1 over 7 minus 2 times a is 2. So I'm going to take this a out and I'm going to put the 2 in its place. Now when you do fractions, you always need to do the top by itself and then do the bottom by itself. And when you do that, once you have one number on the top and one number on the bottom, then you can do the division, because this line right here means division, but we don't do that until the very end. So on the top, the first thing I need to do is multiplication. 8 times 4 is 32. And I'm just going to carry over the plus 1. Over, down here, multiplication again has to come first. So 7 minus is going to carry over. 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, we'll continue on. 32 plus 1 is 33. Over 7 minus 4 is 3. Now I can do the division. 33 divided by 3 is 11. Okay, so follow the order of operations on the top, follow the order of operations on the bottom, then do the division at the end. Next one. Again, n is 6, so we're going to plug that in for all of the n's in this formula here. So we've got 3, bring down the bracket, n is 6, so I'm going to replace that, plus 2, parentheses, 11, minus, I take out the n and I put a 6 in, finish the parentheses, finish the bracket, now we do the math. Okay, innermost parentheses happens first. Everything else drops down, so it'll be 3 bracket, 6 plus 2. Inside the parentheses is going to be 5. Finish the bracket. Okay, now inside the bracket, we need to do the multiplication first, okay, before the addition. So I'm going to drop down the 3, drop down the bracket, drop down the 6, plus 2 times 5 is 10. Finish the bracket. And again, inside the parentheses, I'm going to work that out. So the 3 drops down. 6 plus 10 is 16. All right. Now, what does 3 and then brackets 16 mean? That still means multiplication, okay? Anytime you have, think of these brackets just like normal parentheses. 3 times 16 is going to be 48. And that will be our answer when we plug 6 in for those ends. Look at that cute little chippy. Plugging in. Okay, we have another fraction. 36 plus, now notice we have 4kt, that's all multiplication, so it'll be 4 times k is 2 times t is 3, all over 36 minus 4 times k is 2 times t is 3. Okay, so we just carried all that over. All right, now multiplication has to happen first. So I'm going to bring over the 36 plus, and if you want to, because this is all multiplication, you can certainly multiply those all together. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. Okay, so I did all those multiplied together. Then on the bottom, we carry down the 36 minus 4 times 2 times 3 is still 24. So I'll bring that over. Continuing on, 36 plus 24 is 60. Over 36 minus 24 is 12. And now we do the division. 60 divided by 12 is 5. And that problem's done. Next one, plug in the D. 100 minus 2 times D is 6. So I'm going to replace the D with the 6. Notice I put parentheses around it because it's multiplication, 2 times the 6. And then remember, we still need to bring down the squared divided by 9. So that's how we'd start to write that, okay? There's nothing to do inside parentheses, so the next thing we would need to do is this exponent. Okay, so 100 minus 2 just drops down. 6 squared is 36. So it's going to be times 36 divided by 9. Okay? Continuing on, we've got to do multiplication before subtraction. So I'm going to multiply that out first. 100 minus, that's going to be 72 divided by 9. Okay? Now again, division has to happen before the subtraction, according to Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally. So it'd be 100 minus 72 divided by 9 is 8. And then 100 minus 8, 92. Awesome. All right, quick word problem. This is really just a matter of plugging in, okay? If 8 inches is the width, then we're going to plug 8 in for W, okay? And if 10.5 is the length, then we're going to plug that in for Y, because they told us that Y is length. Okay? So we've got this formula, 5 times 2x plus 2y. Now it's just a matter of plugging in. So it'll be 5 times 2 times 8 is your x. I don't know why I put w. I think I was thinking width. This is actually x. Okay? So 8 is your x plus 2 times y is 10.5. That's a lot of parentheses. That makes it fun. So we bring down the 5, and then inside the parentheses we multiply first. 2 times 8 is 16, plus, and again, since this is still going to come next from left to right in the multiplication area, I can go ahead and multiply those. 2 times 10.5 is 21. Now we do this addition, so it'll be 5 times 37. Now I'm going to have to think a little bit. 5 times 7 is 35. Carry the 3. It's going to be 185. 185 inches of wood. And that'll help us make our frames. Now I'd like for you to work on page 10, numbers 1 to 35 odd. Have fun!